Hello and welcome to WOLFpak Live. I'm your host, Wendy Fortino, and I am here with two incredible guests. I'm going to introduce them. I will first introduced. I haven't yet. I will first introduce Javier Mendez, who is the owner of American Kickboxing Academy, and he's an incredible coach. He's right now in Dubai, and it's 11 p.m. for him. So we are so grateful that he's here. He has coached numerous UFC champions, and he's an MMA just wealth of knowledge. Welcome to our show. How are you doing tonight?
Thanks for saying tonight.
It's tonight for you.
See, that's how dedicated I am. I'm here to 11 p.m. like it's my bedtime at 10 p.m. right now. Not. No, thank you for having me. I'm glad to be on here, especially with knuckleheads down here.
Yes, and I'm not going to call him that because I have a lot of respect for the one and only Cain Velasquez. Did I say that right? I've been practicing. Yes. We had him on before, but you know, he had so many stories that included Javier. I want to bring them back, but Cain Velasquez has just re-upped the heavyweight division in the UFC. He's incredible. He's done a million different things. He's even done the WWE. He has a crazy story, and we're so happy to have him back. So, how are you doing tonight, Cain? Today,
well. Yes, I'm doing well, Wendy. Thank you. Thank you for
we're on the same time zone, so.
Yep.
Yes. Well, you guys, I am so intrigued and so fascinated by your connection, your bond. And I think that the best thing for us to do to just get the ball rolling is to start with a little video that I put together of you two. I hope you enjoy it. So here we go. Bang it to the curb.
Hey,
what's up?
Are you in the wrong place?
No, what are you looking at your phone for?
What are you here? Because I want to say, who are you?
What do you mean?
Hey, you just can't walk past me without saying anything. You look familiar, but you're kind of bald. I'm the guy I remember that looked like you had a little bit of hair. You're a baldy guy.
You're the stranger now.
I'm the stranger? You ready for your surprise? Say it.
What up? How are you?
Good.
Oh, good, man.
Thanks for helping.
Of course. Yes.
Everybody, thank you, brother.
Of course.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
I have a question for you.
What's up?
How come as coach every day now drinking my coffee from McDonald's? Coffee from McDonald's. What
This guy.
McDonald's. That's the best coffee, McDonald's, right there.
To the curb. Make them swerve. Bang it to the curb.
F1 Indy, burning my rubbers. 4 rooms at the motel undercover. Play a click, cruising LA in a 4Runner. Pop the hatchback, booty slapping like my subwoofer.
All right. Does that bring back some memories?
Yes.
It brought back the memories of who started the cheap McDonald's coffee thing. I mean, it was Habib. It wasn't Cain. I thought it was you that did that, but it was Habib. I forgot. He's always on me. Oh, I remember now. He got me a gift certificate for another coffee company.
Yes, I know.
He wanted me to go to a higher level, so he didn't want me to go to McDonald's. So he went and got me a $250 gift certificate for other company to get coffee from.
Yeah.
And I never went. I gave it to my son.
I think when I look at your interactions, the two of you, and I look at just your history together, I think that the thing that really stands out to me is just this like brotherhood that you two have created together. And I think that bond is what really intrigues and fascinates people, because some of these videos of you two, just your banter, have so many views because people just love you two. You know what I mean? So Javier, starting with you, bringing Cain on to American Kickboxing Academy and starting to work with him. Tell me about that bond and that connection and just your experience just over time with him.
Well, when Cain first came through me, it was through Dwayne Zinkin, who was managing Cain at that particular time. And I was part of the management. And it was through, Cain's wrestling coach, Tommy, and they said that, hey, we got the greatest cardio machine ever, blah, blah, blah. And this guy, and I said, who is it? And then they said, Cain Velasquez. And I just said, oh, an overweight Mexican guy. So I was thinking, I wasn't that interested in him. So, when Cain walked into my gym, I was on top of the ring, and they said, hey, Hob, your what do you call it's here? And I looked at him, and I did a double look, and I didn't see what I was expecting. I was expecting to see a chunky, Hispanic. I didn't expect to see a fit, Hispanic that athletic looking like him. I didn't expect that. So I was like, I looked at him and I was throwing a stupid joke. I said, oh, I thought you'd have been heavier. And he goes, oh yeah. I put on weight to wrestle because it's 265. Isn't that the weight at Division K, 265?
285.
Oh, 285. There you go. So I gained weight for wrestling. But he didn't understand what I was saying. So he just kind of went with it. But I was like, oh, maybe we got something here. So that's the first interaction, how I met him. Is I took a double look at him and I go, whoa, this guy's fit. He's not normal Mexican. No way.
Yeah. What about your bond that you guys formed? How did that bond start? And tell me that.
The bond started right away for me. It's because, usually, whether we like it or not, but we always want someone to be like us, that we want to be, involved with. We don't want to be, I don't want to idolize, let's say my greatest person that I idolize is Muhammad Ali. But if Muhammad Ali was a Latino and he was that great of a man, then I would be a little bit more proud because he's like me. But Muhammad Ali to me is the greatest regardless. But if there was a Latino that did as much as Muhammad Ali, I would be more because he's more like me. So Cain was one of those for me. He came into the picture, and I saw not myself in him, but he made me a better version of who I was. Because before Cain came around, I was hiding the fact that not that I was Mexican. I loved the fact that I was Mexican, but I hid the fact that I was from Mexico. I didn't want to be from Mexico. So when Cain and I started training, Cain would want to put on Mexican banda music. And I'm like, looking at him like, no, dude, what are you doing? Don't put that on. It's stupid. He goes, no, dude, it's cool. I said, no, I don't like that music. Don't play that music.
Yeah.
So he wins up. He ends up playing the music. And little by little, I start becoming to embracing more that I am from Mexico. And I do speak Spanish because before Cain, anybody speak to me, I would say like, they say, hey, hablas español? I go, no, I'm sorry. I don't understand what you're saying. And I was ashamed of being Mexican. From Mexico, not a Mexican from Mexico, because when I came to the United States, I was called a wetback right off the bat, and it was not by American, by whites or blacks or Chinese. It was Mexicans. The Mexican kids call me a wetback, so they call me mojado. So I for whatever reason, I realized that I sheltered that in my head and try to whitewash my heritage being from Mexico. Cain taught me to embrace it and love it and be it. Cain's the first person that told me we went to Mexico. He goes, dude, we're going to Mexico. You got to try the food. I go, shut up. It's not good over there. It sucks. Because, dude, you're crazy. Mexican food's one of the best food in the world. I go, bologna. No way. Bologna. You're full of it. He goes, dude, you'll see. And I went down there and, oh my gosh, it was the best food. I could not believe that he was right. So he taught me a lot about Mexican food also. Cuisine. Yeah. He's great on cuisine. He loves great food. So this guy's a food connoisseur. You want to go to a good place? He goes, where are we going? I go, we're going here. He goes, he'll look it up on Yelp to see how many stars it gets to make sure it's good enough. Otherwise, he won't go. So I talked enough, Cain. You can go from there.
No, Cain, you have a lot of Mexican pride. And you also have formed a really close bond with Javier. So tell me about that. like to speaking to what he was talking about with embracing his Mexican heritage?
Yeah, I think it just became a thing of like us working together, us creating a relationship, getting to know him just as a person, and just like different experiences of how he grew up as well, you know, to see who like what experiences made him who he is, right? So I found just a lot of similarities between him and I, as far as how we grew up, you know, like from our parents, from our family, and then also for me, I think just always going to Mexico from a young age. My parents taking us there. That was our family time to go there, right? So that was instilled in me at a very young age. I had just a lot of just a lot of love, a lot of pride from like where I came from. You know,
Yeah.
where my family's from, visiting family, the cuisine, and so like the roots were there, right? And just as I got to know Hav a lot more, I don't know, man. It was just a crazy relationship, you know. It's a brotherhood, but also like a father son, you know, kind of relationship where I knew when I got to work with him, he's the master of the game. I knew that already, you know, and kind of one of those people that you can kind of tell, you know, anything to that you won't be judged. There will be no judgment going on from his end. You know, it's just life experiences. So we just kind of built that more and more, and I knew I just loved being around him, whether it was from the gym, training, and also you know, when I first was in there, I didn't have any money, so he would take me out to lunch almost every day, right? And we still got to like kind of go deeper with the training, but also just the personal stuff. And
He wants you to be well fueled so you can win. I mean, you were representing anyway.
it was all that. It was all that, you know. It's like I just felt very honored to be around him, to be around his presence. Still now, you know, when he is able to be around here, it's just a great thing to be around him.
I love that. I have a video I want to show you. I don't know if you've seen it, Cain, but this is just a little video I want to share and then get your thoughts.
You've literally trained so many people who have gone on to the Hall of Fame, who are just legends in their own right. Who would you say out of all of them had the biggest transformation under your tutelage?
Cain Velasquez.
Velasquez?
Yeah. He got the most out of me out of anybody. I mean, if you sit and you talk to him and you have all the knowledge he's gotten on how to think, the striking and everything. Yeah, he's got the whole package. You know, the next one, not quite like Cain, but has the mental part. Habib has had quite a bit of that, and you know, the great tutelage he got from his father growing up. I see that when he's coaching the guys, when he's scolding the guys out, chewing them out for 5-10 minutes, and that's what I used to see his father do. His father would be on these guys, 15-20 minutes. When they screw up, his father be on them, blah 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 blah. Professional doesn't do this. I mean, his father was incredible.
You've literally trained.
I don't know if you've seen that, Cain, but
so with that, again, from right away, I knew that Hal was the master of this game. So just the analogy of being like a sponge, you know, I just try to absorb everything and learn what he's teaching and why he's teaching everything, and just have it make sense for me. But have me live it, you know, and it's a little difficult to give this to others. You know, it's like he showed me a technique, and it's like I knew I had to do that, and that was the new normal now. It wasn't like I went back to my old ways or, back and forth. No, like we do it like this. Why? Because it's clean, it's crisp, it's it's powerful, it's speed, it's the path to like least resistance, right? Technique wise. And some people don't get that necessarily. So it's difficult to that's also the art of being a coach, to give them something and like have them stay on this path and not necessarily fall off and go back to their old ways. It's like there's reasons for this. This is a high level, you know, move technique. This is a part of your arsenal now. You need to keep that close to you and use that, you know, very often and kind of build, constantly build just around everything. So everything that he showed me, I was just like a sponge, you know, and I tried to do it exactly how he wanted to, right? So from drilling after that, me shadowboxing it, me working on the bag, but it wasn't like he taught me something and then I did my own thing. No, like we were on the same page, on the same wavelength of beneficial for the sport.
Mm-hmm. It seems like, Javier, it seems like it would be so difficult. You have this incredible talent who follows your guidance, has incredible success. And, you know, a lot of people, I mean, you've been able to recreate success like no other, but it's a lot of pressure and it's almost impossible to find another Cain Velasquez. So how has that been? Because every fighter eventually has to retire. You can't fight forever. So how has that process been? Like watching him grow up through the system with you through retirement, maybe not. We'll talk about that. And then now, you know, finding another Cain Velasquez. Like, tell me about that.
Well, first and foremost, for me, I never look for the another Cain Velasquez because there'll never be another Cain Velasquez. What I look for is if a fighter comes through the doors or I open the doors for a fighter, I'm looking at them to see who they are, to find out what their best attributes are, and is it good enough to take them to the highest level. So that's my way my brain works. My brain never works, I want the next Cain Velasquez or the next Habib. No, my brain works on who am I going to take to the next level that I see that has the talent, and where are those talents that I can, you know, help him see his strengths and help him utilize those strengths. That's basically what I look for. And I think a lot of it has been by luck, you know, and also obviously, you know, I do know what I'm doing because, you know, you can't have the kind of success I've had in every arena where I've traveled or wherever I've been.
That's a lot of luck.
Yeah. So it's not luck. There's something I'm doing right. But I think what I'm doing right is I'm loving my guys and I'm caring about them. And I'm teaching them how things are done. I don't teach them my way. I teach them their way that they can adapt for themselves. Everything Cain said was a spot on perfect, you know. And like you said, it's not easy to teach because it's individualized, you know. Yeah. So yes, he understands everything I taught him, but he can't teach it the way it was taught to him because they're not going to be him. They're going to be somebody else. So he has to find something else that's going to be able to trigger that point for them. And he fully understands that. And that's why he's alluded to the fact that it's easier to take in than it is to teach out because he's got to find another one like him. I've never seen one. So, yeah, you know, it's going to be good luck to try to teach somebody like that. Like we had one particular fighter in our gym that would always try to teach somebody his way because he did this and he did that. But he never understood that you know, they're not you. Doesn't matter that they're orthodox or southpaw. It does not matter. They're not you. They're somebody else. So you have to identify who they are. Let them identify and find themselves. Once you can do that, then you can build something on it. But if you're trying to convince them that they should do this and they should do that, it's never good. They got to be right there with you. If they're not there with you, it's very difficult. Like one of the things I used on Cain long time ago, and I said, Cain, if I tell you to do something, are you just gonna just do whatever I tell you? He goes, well, he was kind of like, well, yeah. I go, no. If I tell you to do something that doesn't make sense to you, question me. You know, if you don't like something I'm teaching you, tell me you don't like it. Even if it's effective and I teach you it's effective, tell me you don't want to do it because why am I going to spend time working on something you don't want? You know, so what ended up happening from that little conversation, and that's why he's so good at what he does, is he would say, okay, Hob, that's whacked. I go, whacked? What do you mean whacked? He goes, that's whacked. And I go, oh, you don't want to do it? He goes, yeah, I don't want to do it. I said, okay, then we won't do it. So we move on to something else. So that's the kind of relationship him and I had, it was a big time bonding. Like I said, the other person that I bonded with that level was Habib. But it came more because I spent more time with Cain. Habib would only come, here and there, 4 months out of the year, Cain. He'd be with us for the whole year. So I had a whole year with Cain, and I would have 4 months out of that year with Habib. So obviously, who's going to get more from me? Cain.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm so proud of him because of what he did for me. He brought me out of my, my coconut shell. He made me. Now, I listen to Spanish music. I speak Spanish everywhere. Even today, when I was at the dentist, they were talking about to listen to music. I went through 8 hours on the dentist today. 8 hours, bro. 8 freaking hours.
He's still coming off of the anesthesia.
Yeah, still checked up, bro.
That's why this is going to be a great show.
Look, Cain, look what I got.
There you go.
And so I'm coming out of anesthesia. Guess what I was listening to on they had me listen to music. What do you think I'm listening to? You don't know.
What
do you think?
La Cucaracha.
Rock music. What do you think?
I don't know. Maná.
Marco Antonio
Corridos.
Solis and Los Bukis.
Los Bukis. Okay.
Yeah, I was listening to Los Bukis, bro. I was like, I was in pain. And then I'm going into the music.
This is great. We still have him on a little bit of anesthesia. This is going to be a great show.
A little bit. My teeth are falling. I want to pull my teeth out because they're so tight up here and here.
No.
And these are just temporary, only 10 days. So after that, then they won't look porcelain white. They're going to look more normal.
Okay.
Well, they look great when you come out normal.
They look better than they feel. and the doctor here is a great doctor, Dr. Gad from Dubai. He's a dentist. He's a great guy, and great work is done on me. And I can't wait for the finished product in 10 days. But I have to just throw that out there because my music of choice was Marco Antonio Solis. It wasn't any rap music. It wasn't Motown. It was Marco Antonio Solis, and I loved it. And I didn't care who listened to the fact that I was going to listen to Mexican music. That's who I am. I'm proud to be that. And if it wasn't for this guy, I would have just listened to something else and made me look I'm American. No, I'm Mexican-American, and I'm proud to be from Mexico.
Okay. Cain, tell me if I'm assessing the situation accurately. I think that you have a poker face and you don't really like express yourself a lot. Whereas Javier is very jovial and very much, has a big personality, big sense of humor. And you guys seem to like complement each other really well. Would you agree with that?
No. So I think that people that really know me, that spend a lot of time with me, they get to see that side of me.
Okay.
The side that Javier goes into, and I mean, I'll even go deeper than that.
Really? Well, I need to get to know you better. I'm learning.
He's a big knucklehead. That's why I said knucklehead, because he is. He's goofball. He's a goofball. But you have to get to know him for him to become that goofball. He doesn't become a goofball right away. It takes a little while. Right. But once you break the ice, he's the biggest goofball, most loving, caring guy that you'd ever want to be around. Most caring father. I mean, he's just a beautiful man.
Tell us you would be on time. Yes or no? You know I'm not going to be on time. You know my schedule. I don't know your schedule. Yeah, you do. When you're late, you should say, "Hey, I'm coming late." And you should know. If you go, had you known that upstairs is pro training, you've been fine. I did not. And you should tell people that too. Okay. Tell them what. Tell them that you're going upstairs for whatever. We did tell everybody.
It's like normal interaction with you guys.
It is. I mean, every day it is. And then we get, we get to the whatever. Yeah, we just have fun with each other. We have fun.
The funniest thing he does to me lately, Wendy, you know what he does to me? Him and little Cain Jr., they destroy my office. Little Cain Jr. come in and he'll mess up my shoes. He'll put my shoes on my chair. He'll put my little little animals in there. I mean, he'll mess me up. He goes, "Hi, Jab." Calls me Jab. Hi, Jab.
He calls him Jab.
I go, "My name's Javier." He goes, "No, it's Jab."
That's good.
I tell
fun.
I tell him the spelling of Javier, right? And he puts it in his head. He's like, "No, that's Jab." And I'm like, "Yeah." I told him, in Spanish, the J is like an H. But in his office, I'm trying to teach my son how to like do pranks, like, okay, we can prank people and it's funny, So we get in his office and he knows that Hobbs in town. He's like, okay, so let's do something. Let's prank him. I'm like, yes, let's do that. So we'll rearrange things and get in there and yeah.
So you guys, that's your idea of training your son to be fun. That's good. That's good. Put it on him. That's been better. All right. Okay. So Javier, you've seen Cain evolve, and you've seen him like kind of over the years, from winning his 2 heavyweight titles in the UFC to moving on and starting the WWE. I mean, I don't know if I couldn't really find any place where you actually gave your thoughts on that. So tell me about that. Watching him kind of evolve, grow up, I guess you could say, and then his WWE journey and all that.
Well, having Cain on board, at the very beginning, he was such a tremendous talent that the word got out on him right away. What I did is I said to the other person that was involved in managing and training Cain with me, I said, "Hey, let's get Cain 10 fights before we put him into the UFC." And well, yeah, that was the plan. We were going to get him 10 fights before we put him in the UFC. But the word on him got out so quick after his first and second fight that nobody wanted to fight him. No matter where he went, nobody wanted to fight him. So I said, dang it. I go, man, I guess that plan went out the door. So I said, okay, well, let's just get him in the UFC then. And then they said, well, we can get him in the UFC now. I go, no. I go, take him to have a workout in front with Dana White and let Dana look at him personally. So that was arranged. Dana looked at him, and I guess he said, I wasn't there, but I guess he said, why isn't this guy with us? It's like, so that's how his career started with the UFC. And at the very beginning, everything was going great. And, Cain was a workhorse, but there was problems that kept happening to him. And I kept wondering what the heck's going on. He have an injury here, an injury there. And this is my fault. This is where I take the blame on this one, because I should have known, I should have looked into it deeper. And it wasn't until the very end of where all the injuries started happening that I asked him, I go, Cain, have you ever been getting injured in wrestling? In wrestling, he goes, no, never, really. I went, damn, what the hell why is he getting injured here? And I'm going, then it finally hit me. He's overtraining. And that's a coach's responsibility to pick that up. And unfortunately, I didn't because he never complained. He kept going and going and going. And he used to do a thing that I never used to understand. He would say, I'm hot. And I would say, well, calm down, relax. He goes, no, you don't get it. I'm hot. And I'm like, no, calm down. And he goes, no, I'm hot. And I go, oh, so I used to pour water on him because he was, overheating. So then I started realizing, man, if I knew what I knew now, the mistakes we make, it's unfortunate, and I as a coach grew on that, but I wish I would have grown before that happened, because, we're talking to one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. But had I paid attention and bit on our side, God willing, we would be talking to the greatest fighter of all time, in my opinion. It's unfortunate these things happen, so we didn't see that. So coming from that angle to another angle where he finished the fighting, then he went into lucha libre. He loves lucha libre. That's his thing. That's his go-to move. Lucha libre. He loved lucha libre. So he got a kick out of that. And one day he came into the gym. He had El Toro. He had the Toro, the mask, the lucha libre mask. And Daniel Cormier grabs the Toro mask and he puts it on, and Daniel's like going at people like bulls, you know, this and that. Habib's team jumped on Daniel Cormier. There must have been 5 or 6 of these guys jumped on Daniel. It was funny as heck to watch it. If you could have pulled that video out, Wendy, that's a really, really, really funny one. So Cain got involved in the Lucha Libre. WWE saw him, and they brought him on board with that. He was a natural athlete for this stuff, and he loved the wrestling. But if I'm not mistaken, Cain, you can clarify if I'm wrong, but I believe you love Lucha Libre better because of what you can do there, you know.
Yes.
But again, his career should have been the greatest of all time, not the great one. He's a great one. He's one of the greatest heavyweights, but he should have been the greatest fighter of all.
Okay. See, I have a video here. Is this your Lucha Libre mask here?
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Oh, sorry. I'll get through that. Hang on 1 second. Okay, you guys keep talking about it while I get through this.
Well,
yeah. So I mean, as far as the injuries go, my pain tolerance is high.
I know. That's what I was gonna say.
And I could put in a workout, right? So I didn't know much about that. I mean, you know, I came from Arizona State to AKA, and I didn't know the other side of it because I was so young. The recovery, all of that you needed, you know, and because the pain tolerance is high and the workload is high, I could run through that all day, you know, until things started like kind of falling apart. Right. But even then I would still try to make it work. And it wasn't as big of a bother until it got big. So that was one thing that I really learned from that, you know, is and something that I can pass on now.
Yeah.
When people are overtraining or they have an injury, on how to, you know, deep tissue massage, all that stuff. I'm very good with now because I've done it so much now. So. Yeah.
I don't know. I have a theory about this because I feel like it's really rare to find somebody who has a pain tolerance like you and is actually willing to push through that type of pain, because most people stop before that even happens. So most people need to be trained the opposite, to push through pain, to like dig deeper. I mean, to try to tell people to stop when you feel pain. It's something that you really only need to do with certain people. Like, you're a rare breed. It's really difficult to find somebody who you have to tell to back off, because most people, they need to keep going. They need to go harder.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
and that's what I see now with some of the guys that I'm training. I did a training session, and I really haven't trained with anybody, like, it's probably been like 2 months, you know, and I did it, and again, I do it to max, right? Again, like, I'll do it to death. Like, that's my mentality in a workout. This is the time frame I have. I'm giving you everything I have in this time frame. And I see some guys that are like much more tired in that moment than they were normally, right? So that's one of the things is, hey, you have this time frame, like, you got to put that output.
Yeah.
Once you're there, once you're max capacity in this training, you know, that you're doing, and you get comfortable with that over and over and over again. When you're at max, it's not so scary. It's not so dangerous anymore. You know, that's like, you can work in there. I think people get in trouble when they don't push themselves like that very often, and they get into their max. They get into like really breathing hard. The heart rate's up, where it scares them. You know, it's a hard place to work out at once you're there. But if you do it constantly, you get used to it, right? You get used to working there, and then you start to see your opponent or the other guy start to fall.
Yeah, it's really hard with you because you're so rare. Like, you have to push past that. But with you, it's interesting that Javier takes responsibility for that, because you're as a good coach, you want people to push past their threshold. It's like the fact that you had somebody that you actually needed to pay attention to this way. I don't know. It just seems so rare to me that it's hard to navigate, I would think.
Well, you know, a lot of the times we as coaches always like to put the blame game on somebody else, you know, and
Yeah.
you know, we have to realize that we're the one who's, you know, if I'm the head coach, whether I know it or I don't know it, you know, I learned this from Josh Koscheck, believe it or not, that, you know, regardless, I'm the head coach and the dagger comes to me, you know, and so under a situation where my fighter is not performing the way he's supposed to, but he's under my watch, and I didn't pick it up, or I did pick it up and I didn't bring it to his attention, and I didn't try to change it, the dagger's on me. And let's say I did bring it to his attention. Let's say I did try to get him to change. The dagger's still on me because I'm still the father, you know, and that's a lesson I learned. I learned a lot of lessons, you know, growing up as a coach. You know, I didn't have all this experience passed on down to me. I had it from mistakes I made, you know, with some of my fighters and some of the good things I did with some of my fighters. The one things that I was really, really, really good at is the mental preparation, getting you mentally ready there, getting you ready to go and fight and really hitting the hot points. That's something that's very unique about me that you may not find in anybody else. Maybe no one in the world has that mental edge that I have. I've yet to meet someone that can actually do that part like me. Not the technical part, not the technical part.
Mental is the most important.
The mental part. And I've been very successful with that. And Cain knows what I'm talking about because, you know, on his second, when he lost his title defense with Junior Dos Santos, is because he had a torn meniscus and he couldn't train right. We were misdiagnosed, and it was one of those bad situations. And there was no energy in him. There was nothing I could do to pep him up. And the fight did not go our way. The game plan was to take him down, but Cain couldn't do anything because he couldn't even stand very much before anything. I mean, for God's sake, the week of the fight, you know, I told him, hey, we better use kicks just in case we have to, because we haven't used them at all in training because of his knee, you know, because his knee couldn't do nothing. And I said, he started kicking, and he goes, can we stop? I go, why? He goes, it hurts. And I said, oh my gosh, here we are. We're fighting a guy that's super, super dangerous. And I noticed I had a lion, but I had a wounded lion. And you go to the weigh-ins, right? And I'm watching Cain at the weigh-ins. You know what Cain does when he goes to the weigh-ins? He pounces back and forth like an animal, just, you know, like a prey, going at lion, going like this, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. On this fight in particular, he went like this, he stood, the guys moved up, he went, he stood. He didn't pants up and down, none of that. So his motivation, everything going into that fight was low, low, low. And that's what I'm going to get at here. So if you understand what I'm trying to say here. So come the rematch, this is a whole different story. You know, we get in there, we get him mentally ready. He's ready to go. He's ready to go win this title back. And Cain's walking down looking like this. And then I see Junior Dos Santos looking at Cain, mad dogging him like, I'm going to eat you. I'm going to eat you. And I yell at Cain, give it back to him, give it back to him, look back at him. All of a sudden Cain went, ding, looked right back at him, and then it was on. And then
he's a gamer.
The middle of the octagon, Cain went into the middle of the octagon and said, boom, that's it. And then at the weigh-ins, Cain was doing that lion, pouncing back and forth, pouncing back and forth, pouncing back and forth. So I learned all these things by observing and realizing this is something important. This is something important. So you have to win these battles before the battle starts. And I started doing these things and because I saw how we lost the battle. Because we lost the battle before it got started, you know, and because of injury and then the mental part. Because maybe had I been able to focus on his mind and been as good as I am now, maybe I would have been able to get him out of that. But to be honest with you, I didn't have that capability that I have now.
Well,
you know?
I don't know.
But I wasn't the level I am now in the mental part. And
well,
you can chime in on that because I mean you experienced it. You can say how you didn't feel. This was you were going through this.
Yeah. No, I think we're always just getting better. Like we're just saying, how with the coaching, with knowing who you have, like who you're coaching, how they operate the best. Yeah, for me, like those mental games and all that beforehand. All that helps. It is a war leading all the way up. It's a war before, and it's the battle
war
during, and then so I think everyone's different. Everyone, you need to coach a little differently. Everyone's mentality is a little different coming into a fight. You know, Hav just knew exactly how I worked,
Yeah.
So to get the most out of me. Yep.
I think two things going on here. Number one, I think that Javier obviously has really high level of social intelligence, and that's innate. You naturally are able to observe patterns with people, and you pick up those patterns, and you're learning that person one by one, and then you figure out what cues and what patterns are necessary to motivate that person. But the second thing on that is that even though it's innate and it's a natural ability that you have, it's also been trained over years of you doing this over and over again with people. So observing multiple different people's patterns and figuring out exactly how each of these different fighters need the cues, you are only that much better for it. I mean, and with Cain, you notice that he normally has to hype himself up a certain way. And when you're not observing that that's happening, you know, this fight could be, that's the thing that you knew he needed to really like inject that next level inside of him. And you, from observing him over all the fights that he had done, you knew that he needed to be there. He needed to mentally, physically, emotionally get himself there, regardless of how effed up his foot was, I guess. Right?
Yeah, yeah. It's one of those things where I did learn this earlier on before him about the mental game, but I still kept learning. Is what I'm alluding to. What I didn't catch on Cain was the fact that he was injuring himself because he was overtraining. So, but I had the mental game from the beginning because I was involved in the fight game myself on the mental aspect of it in one of my world title fights where I lost to Marek Petrowski. And basically, Pops was a legendary coach for us, who I love to death, who taught me to love your fighter no matter what, win or lose, still love your fighter. Where we had another coach named Witzeli, who, if you lost, he treated you like a dog, you know. And so when I lost my title fight, Pops treated me with love. Witzy treated me like a dog, you know. And I saw something that I just didn't want to be involved in my life with my fighters. I don't never want to do that to them because it's a horrible thing to do. So, but I learned the confidence level of what you go into a fight, because I went into that fight thinking that, you know, I had this famous cutman named Jacob Stitch Duran, and I had known him, and he tells me that, hey, I'm going to fight Marek Petrowski. He goes, he has no left hand. His left hand is no good, and Pops had overtrained me. I was overtrained, and I kept telling Pops, hey, I'm burned out. You know, why do I have to do this? He goes, no, boy, my amateurs kick butt. You know, they do $1 million. I go, but Pops, I'm doing 12 rounds. They're doing 3 rounds. There's a big difference between 12 and 3. He goes, no, boy, trust me. And so I was that kind of fighter that if my coach said do this, I did that. You know, yeah. And so I learned to question my coach because, you know, and not go with my coach because he wouldn't listen to me. So I learned not to do that with my guys. So I did learn earlier on, you know, about those type of things, overtraining, because it happened to me. But I still need to learn more, obviously, because if I would have known what I know now, Cain wouldn't be where he's at now, you know. But I was good, but I wasn't where I'm at now. I'm much better now, much more experienced. And then it was going into the fight, all I kept thinking about was, oh, this guy's got no left hand, but he kept messing me up with that left hand. And my mind kept going, man, I thought he don't have no left hand. I thought he had no left hand. So, see, mentally I realized, oh, my God, I got put in my head. He's got no left hand. His hand's weak. But the left hand kept entering my mind, and you can't focus on those things. It's got to be about what you need to do to beat your opponent, what you need to do to take the advantage, not, oh, what's he doing to me? No, and that's what's going on to me. What's he doing to me? Oh my, you know, this and that. So I learned earlier on about those type of things, and that's how I learned the mental game. Not from that particular instance, but that's just an explanation of when this was 1994 that I started, where I learned that one. But there was more lessons before that.
I love that. So you two, okay, you're part of an era that is pretty magical. The concurrent champions that you had, Luke Rockhold, Daniel Cormier, and Cain Velasquez, pretty incredible times, right? Something interesting that I found out that I really thought was interesting. I did not know this, but apparently Daniel Cormier was being interviewed about fighting you, Cain, and he mentioned that he didn't want to fight you. So I found this, and then I just want you to, let's see. I just want you to speak to that, if I can find it. Here we go.
He was the first person I called whenever they asked me, and I said, what do you think? And he said, honestly, he goes, I don't believe that I'm going to get a title shot right away. He goes, so this is such a great opportunity for you. He said, you've done things in regards to my career, obviously going down in weight and everything. He goes, I have to support you. He goes, I want to support you. And he goes, not only am I supporting you from afar as a teammate, he goes, I'm going to be involved in trying to help prepare you to become the heavyweight champion of the world. So
wow. Tell me about that.
So yeah, that's when DC went to fighting the heavyweight, and he asked me, and I obviously wasn't fighting at that moment with the injury, so I was like, yeah, man, do your thing, just like always, I'll be there to help you in any way that I can. But go out and rule, man. Go out and get that championship and do your thing.
Okay, wait, you know what I'm going to ask you now, right?
What's that?
I caught that. You said, well, yeah, I was injured at the time, so of course I wasn't fighting. So I said, go ahead. So if you weren't injured, then what?
If I wasn't injured, I mean, then it'd be
bad girl.
No, then it'd be a thing of I believe we always had a rule at the gym, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Jav, but it would only make sense if one guy was champion and the other guy was next in line to fight. That's the only way that it would make sense to do it. Between DC and I believe we were past that, like that we already did it so many times in the gym.
Yeah.
That for us it wasn't. It was more than that. It was. I would not have wanted to do that.
Yeah.
To fight him. I think I definitely would have said no to that because we had so much just history. We did it all in the gym. Like for I believe for me, I was past that. It wasn't about getting a championship or anything like that. It was more of seeing a brother go out and accomplish his dreams, and and just to expand himself. So the rule of the gym normally is that. But I wouldn't have done that because of who Daniel is to me.
I love that. See, I wanted to know that. Now I do. Yes.
Yeah, that's the bond that a real team has, and it is always going to be up to the fighter. The rule, like Cain alluded to, that is a rule, but this is the rule also that adds with that. If you are offered a fight against a teammate and he's not the champion, okay. Yeah. And it's just for a contender status or something like that. The one individual that wants that fight versus the other one that doesn't really want that fight, that person's going to get asked to leave the gym. Because we cannot have that. Because if we have that, then, what's the goal here? We're all going to fight each other to climb to the top. No, that's not a team. Yeah. So the UFC's job and all the other organizations' job is to get the best fights possible to make the most money. So having a teammate fight a teammate, it's obviously bigger views. But for my gym, it's going to destroy my gym. It's going to destroy the morale because it's going to say, now, what does that say about the coaches? That they're okay with that? And many other gyms have done that, but I would never, ever, ever, ever cross that line. And it's funny because we had this conversation many years ago, and, Josh Thompson, we call him the punk for a reason because he is the punk. But he called me up one time and goes, how you make that assumption, not assumption, how you make that rule about no teammate can fight another teammate unless for a title fight. I go, yeah. He goes, well, they're offering Khabib a fight with me. And he goes, and I said, what? He goes, yeah, they're offering him a fight with me. And you said, and I go, I know what I said. I go, so I called up Khabib and I said, Khabib, I said, I was told that you're looking to fight Josh Thompson. He goes, yes, coach, but no, I'm not fighting Josh Thompson. He's a teammate. Never do that, coach. Loyalty number one. And I said, I didn't have to say anything. It's already, it's instilled in Khabib's a team through his great father that loyalty is number one. You don't fight your teammate, not unless you if there's a particular reason or livelihood. But this was no reason whatsoever. So that was already instilled in him. But this was a perfect example of a situation that got denied by the fighters too. That we were offered to fight each other, but there was no way.
That's crazy. It's like this is people want to know what makes this gym and this kind of network so magical, and this is why. I mean, the way that you guys operate, your character as a gym. I mean, there's a character with each individual, but then the character of the gym, the principles that you teach your fighters. It's pretty insane. It's very rare. This is not a normal situation. You guys know how unique this is, obviously.
Yeah, they essentially, I mean, it's all life lessons. You know, you want to think about it in the gym, but these are lessons. These are principles that you carry on with you forever. You know, and I think one of the most important things, one of the things that I learned the most was Javier always having his talks at the end. You know, so everyone being on the same page, but Javier, what he says as far as what's going on in the gym, and also what happens in in sparring and things like that. I listened to those. I absorbed all of that, and those are all life lessons. If you just want to say martial arts, like what we're doing, like if you go into the depths of it, we're learning of ourselves. We're learning how to communicate, how to be with others, right? We're learning what our soul is, what our heart is, in the depths of it all. So I always learn a lesson in there, whether you're just training. But I would say one of the most important things is Hav's speeches at the end, and him just sharing his wisdom, him just sharing his heart. So yeah.
Yeah, that Wendy, that is actually a very key component that we've been doing before any other MMA team, and that is one of the biggest reasons why we're still doing it. Team Khabib is adapted the same format, and that's they've already had the work ethic, but they involved the talking at the end, and we've been doing that for forever, and this is what keeps us together. This is what makes us a team. That we're able to share, and everybody has a voice. Everybody has a voice. Not one person that doesn't want to speak can speak, but this is the thing. They have to speak in the order of where it is their turn. So you don't let the coaches speak first. I speak at the end. If I'm the head guy and I want me to speak first, then I'll speak first. But because I always like going at the end, because some of the other coaches will say some very important things, and I'll tap on something that they haven't tapped into. That's why I always like going at the end. Not that first is very good, but I like going at the end because a lot of them, like Cain and my son and Ron Kessler and all the other coaches, will say something really good, but I have the most experience, so I'll be able to add something that they didn't add to the game. And Cain, just so you know, that's why I do that, because you guys are all saying something, but I'll say something that you guys might say something that I was gonna say, but then all of a sudden you guys already said it, so I have to redirect my brain and get something else that's going to be useful for the team.
Yeah.
So that's why I go at the end. Not that that's the way that it should go. No, the head coach can decide when he wants to go, but the head coach decides who goes when, this and that. And the way I do it is the coaches go first, from the lower level coach to the highest level next to me, and then I go to the fighters. Whoever, if the team captain is there, back then it was Daniel Cormier, so Daniel would get to speak next. And then after Daniel, anybody else that wanted to speak could speak. But then nobody can all go, oh, me. It's one at a time. And it's always been that way. And another thing that we do, and Cain knows this, is very important to keep a team together, is when it comes to sparring, there's no star. There's no star. It's always who's priority, who has the fight first. So if Cain has a fight, let's say Khabib has a fight, Cain's a world champion, and Khabib has a fight 1 month before Cain. Khabib was just a contender, not a world champion. Well, you would think that, Cain's our superstar, so he could spar whenever he wants to. No. The option goes to Khabib. Khabib decides when he wants to go. If Khabib says, I want to go first, he'll go first. If he wants to go second, he'll go second. Cain doesn't decide. Khabib decides. But if it was too close, like within a week or 2 weeks of each other, then Cain would decide, or whoever's the champion can decide. Then a month apart, no, we let the other individual decide when they want to spar. And those are some of the things that people don't do. And I'm sharing, you know, and obviously it's going to help other people if they follow the format they're going to follow. They'll do their own, but they have to follow the alpha male. Somebody has to be a leader. They can't just be everybody for their own selves. They have to be a leader. If you don't have a leader, you don't have a team.
No, I could see how that would be important. I was listening to a podcast that you were doing talking about Habib and his culture and how they do things. And Habib is a superstar. He has like, oh my God, like 40 million followers on Instagram. I don't know. It's crazy. But, you know, you were all traveling together and he slept on like the rollaway bed and he insisted that you sleep in the main bed or something like that. And it shocked you. So tell me about that.
No, it wasn't me. It was I went into the Emirates Palace, which they have these gorgeous big suites, and I went in there and I looked. I said, Habib, I go, who? Oh wow, you got that bed? He goes, no, coach. I go, where are you sleeping? And there's a rollaway. I go, sleeping here. I go, who's sleeping in the big bed? He goes, Shamil, my big brother. So see, that's what he is. I mean, like. Still to this day, when we go cornering and stuff, you know, carrying the bucket, those guys won't let me carry the bucket. Habib will carry the bucket. Islam will carry the bucket. Usman, Umar, all those guys will carry the bucket before me. They will not allow me to carry the bucket. If I come into a room and all the chairs are taken, and I'm the elder, and I'm the coach, I'm the elder. And even if I'm the elder, they're gonna make me sit. They cannot stand. They won't allow themselves to let me stand. And I've tried it. Trust me. I go, no, I want to stand. They go, no, coach, sit. I go, no, I want to stand. No, sit. So they won't insist I sit down. That's just the way they are. And I've learned so much on that loyalty that drives them. And that's something that Cain and I share, but we don't. Our team doesn't share that kind of loyalty. Certain of us do. Like Cain and I shared that, but we don't all share that. That's what makes Team Habib so strong. They have that loyalty, and now they have the whole game plan on how to go into a fight, how to train properly for a fight. He grabbed from us, he grabbed from father, he grabbed from other people, and they bring it all together, you know. And they got a great formula, and that's why Cain can agree with me. We are Team Nurmagomedov. We are Team NKA. We're one and the same. So for me, we're number one in the world, because they are our team. They come to us. They're with us. We take care of them. We go to them. I take care of them. And it's going to be that way for the rest of my life. It's going to be that way with Cain. Yeah. It's going to be that way with Habib, because that's how we are. You know, we're a family. We're not only when we're making money. No, we're a family through and through.
It seems like that would just make sense to have an awesome team. I wish more people adopted that type of system, because I know it's a cultural thing, but having too many alphas in the room, having too many cooks in the kitchen, it just seems like the well would get backed up. Having that hierarchy and having people respect their elders, I just feel like that makes sense to have a successful running operation, and have a team where everyone respects each other the way that they should. That just, to me, it makes sense.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah, it's as far as a team, just open communication, but also not letting the ego get in. It's give and take. It's being okay with it. It's as long as everyone else is okay, you need to be okay, right? But it's being able to see somebody else's view and being okay with that, and working together. So it's a brotherhood. It's a family. It's give and take. It's letting go of things. All for the greater good of everyone.
Yeah. We have a question. We're coming close, but we do have a question for you, Cain. How much endurance training do you do daily for a fight?
How much training would I do for a fight?
Like endurance training.
Okay.
I think
with every training session, obviously it was endurance training as well, right?
Yeah.
So we have a 2-hour training session, and again, like just push myself.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think of like the next workout. I would just like so focused in the one workout where I would give it all those 2 hours. And I wouldn't think of, I have another workout later. So I wouldn't save myself. Right.
Yeah.
So I got everything else. I got everything out that I needed to. And if I made the next workout, I would make it. If I didn't, then I didn't, but I would put 100% in everything. And then I obviously would do running on top of that 3 days a week. But more so just a jog, just like a boxer's jog, just like a good jog, open the lungs up. Nothing so hard. Sprints every now and then. But as far as what we do already, sparring, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, all of that is endurance training as well.
Well, like what Cain's alluded to, Wendy, this is where I learned too how to become a better coach too. Is Cain said what he just said, that he give it his all. Okay, well, sometimes me as the coach needs to look at him to see his performance, to say, hey, Cain, take the day off, don't come back. And sometimes, well, one of the things I have never said, and I'll say it now, that Cain maybe knows a little bit about, but I was struggling with sleep apnea for the longest time. When everybody knows what sleep apnea is, it's some other. Yeah, it's a lack of sleep. If your oxygen cuts off, you're choking in the middle of the night. You never get good sleep, never get REM sleep. So I was always barely walking. I was like a walking zombie, to be honest with you. So a lot of what I did was because of love, not because of the energy I had. I had hardly any energy. So I did the best I could, but I was struggling. And if it wasn't for the surgery that I had, to be honest with you, I don't know if I'd be around today. Because I had a serious case of sleep apnea, and I had the machine, I had everything, and then I went and did the surgery, and then of course that worked out, and I gained a little bit of weight. Then I had mild sleep apnea, and then I lost the weight most recently, and then the apnea's gone again, and I want to keep it away. So those of you that are watching out there, tell me, don't eat, coach. Stop the eating.
Stop the McDonald's.
Stop the McDonald's. Stop the McDonald's coffee too. No more McDonald's coffee.
McDonald's coffee is okay. It's just coffee from McDonald's, whatever.
It's actually really good.
Nothing wrong with it. It's just coffee. How many different ways can you make coffee?
Okay, no, you can't go into that with Cain. I'm sorry, because he's gonna tear you apart.
Oh, he likes fills. I'm sorry.
He understands. He's a connoisseur of coffee, food. This guy knows. He's
a coffee snob. Okay.
Hey, with McDonald's, you don't know what they're gonna put in it to make some money. I'm just saying. Okay, there's some other stuff in there. I'm sure it's not just coffee beans and water.
Yeah.
So
they're probably using instant.
In order for us to do better, we got to do all like what we watch. We got to do better. Something that feeds us, but also the food. We know McDonald's is what it is.
It is what it is. It really is what it is. So, okay, I have a burning question for you, Javier. All right. Before we wrap this up, this is something that I want to know from you. Okay. Will we be seeing Cain Velasquez in an octagon or a ring anytime in the future? Take your time.
I think if we're going to see Cain anywhere, it's going to be in the ring and Lucha Libre for him. Lucha Libre for him. For me, WWE. Because for me, I want the best for him. I know he'll love Lucha Libre more, but I know WWE pays bigger money. And honestly speaking, I think Cain's a big superstar anyways. So whatever Cain's going to decide to do, when he wants to do it, he's going to do it. He's going to do the best of his ability, which is basically stardom, in my opinion. He's a star.
I like that. Yeah, we talked about this a little bit, Cain, but it's been a couple weeks. So any new thoughts?
No new thoughts. I love what I'm doing. I left everything in there, for myself. And that's what we're doing here, right? Regardless of the accolades or anything else, I know I left everything in there and I did above and beyond what I had to. and I did almost too much sometimes, but that was me. That's how I do it. That's how I love to do it. I love that I got to do that. I love that I got to go free. I mean, for a time it was like I couldn't just go free and just do what I wanted to because you know, in sparring and stuff, we would guys wouldn't come back that I would spar. So I had to play with people now. I couldn't just go in and just do what I wanted to. So, but again, like for me, it was what I learned from it was that I got to learn myself and be around amazing people.
You know, in regarding the sparring, Wendy, we could never have one sparring guy for him because he'd wreck him. We had to have many sparring partners because they couldn't handle him. He was that good. Not just cardio, not just wrestling. Technically, everywhere he was good. Everywhere, anything he wanted him to do, just stand, Cain. Just use your left hand, Cain. Just wrestle, Cain. You know, play jiu-jitsu, Cain. Whatever you wanted him to do, he would do, and he would beat these guys just doing that. But I had to make things interesting for him because when we didn't have enough guys, I make him play cat and mouse. So I'm gonna tell you the funny one. You gotta laugh about this one.
Go for it.
You know, Cain used to spar with DC all the time, and I used to always tell Cain certain things, this and that. And DC goes to me, Hog, what'd you say to Cain? I said nothing. Goes, no. What'd you say? I said, DC, I said nothing. He goes, no, you told him to go easy on me, didn't you? And I said, yeah, I did. He goes, why? Bullshit. No, he needs to go hard. I go, DC, you can't handle it. He goes, no, I can handle it. You tell him to go hard. I'm not going to do that. Tell him to go hard. I said, no, DC, you can't handle it. No, now you're not ready for this. He goes, no, I'm ready for it, Hog. No, tell him. You tell him to go hard. This is bullshit. I said, all right. I look at Cain. I said, okay, Cain, go. 2 punches later, boom in the nose. DC turns around. He's like this. His blood dripping all over the place. And I'm like, my eyes popped out of my head. And I'm going, oh, I knew I shouldn't have done it. And I said, DC, you okay? DC goes, blood dripping everywhere. Yeah, I'm all right, Hog. And I'm like going, did you break his nose? I think you broke his nose, right?
But that was early on too, Wendy. So it wasn't like
Oh my God. That was before you gained your control.
Yeah. Cain was just too good, you know. So, you know, and I told him you're not ready for that. But, you know, look, DC on his very first sparring with us, ever did, because he's such a great wrestler. He went with Andre Arlovsky because Andre Arlovsky was training with us when he was a little off. And DC kept coming in and taking Andre down. And then Andre would hold on to the ropes. And DC's going, Hog, he keeps holding on to the ropes. He keeps holding on to the ropes. So I'm just like what are we going to do? Andre, he can't deal with your wrestling, so he's going to do what he got to do. So that's my first introduction to watching DC come in and showcase what a stud he was, you know, with his wrestling. He was a wrestler that knew how to use wrestling to his best abilities. And I'll tell you one other funny story because you're going to laugh. Cain and him I used to make them wrestle on a Saturday, just Cain and DC.
Yeah.
And to watch the intricacies of wrestling, little slight movement and you're off. So I'd watch him. DC would throw Cain off just a little bit. As soon as Cain went off a little bit, Cain is flying. He's flying in the air. He's like flying. And I used to laugh and I used to call Cain Air Cain.
Air Cain?
Air Cain.
Oh my gosh. That's so funny.
He was that good. He was that good when it was just wrestling.
Yeah.
He was so good, man. He is so good. So, yeah.
But I have an important question to ask. Well, two different questions, actually. Number one, is it normal to just like break your nose all the time? I mean, it seems like people are just breaking their noses all the time. I mean,
it's another day in the office.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's another day in the office when you're talking about MMA, right? It's broken noses, cuts anywhere. It's if you bleed or something, or it's like that's just another day in the office.
On a broken nose, not that often, but gradual breaks all the time. Because when you see gradual break, is when you see the little indentation the boxers have, like here. It's little. That's a gradual break. Most boxers have that. I had that too. I had that indentation here. I got it fixed. See how my nose is? But it used to be dented here. I used to have a dent in here, and that's from
it's cut. It's black eyes. That's just a normal thing.
Did you see Sean Strickland break his nose and then pop it back into place?
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. And you know, it's like, I don't care what anybody says. You get your nose broken the way he did, you got to regroup, man. He had to get out of there to get himself together and regroup his nose.
Popped it back and went right back into it.
There's intense pain there. And he's a stud for the way he did that. The way he you know, he got away from the action and re-correct himself before he went back to fighting. To me, I've been involved with a lot of guys that broken their nose. That's very admirable for me. I go, wow. I go, that this guy, you know, I mean, game planning is one thing, but warrior, that guy's a warrior. He's a warrior through and through.
You know, he's going to get some street cred for that one.
Oh, yeah, big time. For me, he does. Because you don't get your nose broken like that, and you don't stay and fight with a broken nose. That's stupid. You know, what he did was try to fix the nose, then to come back to fighting. That's what he did. You know, to me, I mean, hey, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I think that was, in my opinion, that was a pretty smart move of him to get away from the action, to correct himself a little bit before he get his head back in the game.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. Oh my gosh. Well, you know what? I would love to have you guys back because not only did I want to know about your history, but I would love to get your take on some of the future fights coming up because both of you have the best insight ever. Unfortunately, we have to wrap things up, which I don't want to, but I want to give you guys the last word. So Javier, we'll start with you, all of your fans and people who love you and follow you. What would you like to say?
I have a book coming out. I don't know the name yet, but it's about giving people the willpower and the energy and the confidence to go after their goals, after their dreams, whether it be, I want to get an A+ in school today, or I want to get, I want to make my boss proud of me, or, I want to be the best husband, I want to be the best wife, anything of that nature. I'm writing a book that can help you, try to achieve some of these things that you want to do in your life. And it's not related to fighting. Fighting is everywhere. We're fighting in life. We fight to walk, we fight to eat, but we can use what we do in the ring and the octagon and the cage, or we can use that to benefit our lives. We don't have to be fighters to be real fighters in life, and get a name for me, you guys. Be real fighters in life. Is that maybe a good book line? I don't know.
The fight of your life. I don't know if that's taken.
I don't know. That's my thing. Give me
that's awesome.
Give me a
book.
We'll
share it when you release it. I'll be sure to share it. That's awesome.
Yeah, we're gonna start soon. It's been approved, so I have to start the book soon. But it's not gonna be about fighting. It's gonna be about giving you the energy and the mind. Like Think and Grow Rich. Give you ideas. Like Henry Ford. The book was written by Napoleon Hill, and it was not about him being the best car maker. It's about him making the best decision maker. He got the best engineer, he got the best mechanic, got best driver. You got everything that put in place to make the perfect car. And that's kind of the mentality you can use in life. And that's kind of what I want to do. I want to give people the tools, the mental tools to be able to use in their life to do anything that they have their heart desire. And it's got to be realistic, though. You can't go after something that's not realistic. It has to be realistic. Like me saying, the way I look right now, for next year I'm going to win Mr. Olympia. Yeah. Okay. Good job. That's going to happen.
Me, 5 feet tall. I'm going to be a professional basketball player.
Yeah. Well, no. That could happen. That can happen. Well, who was the smallest little guy? Spud? How old was
Cain? His face says everything.
Little guy? Was he dunked, Cain? He was 5'4" something in the NBA.
Oh, Bugsy, yeah. Yeah, he played for Charlotte.
Charlotte. And he was 5'4". He dunked. 5'4". He dunked. Yeah.
It's probably not happening for me, but thank you. I'm going to read your book and then I'll try it out.
They can lower the thing not from 10 feet to 8 feet, maybe.
They'd have to lower it for sure. Oh my gosh. Cain, you get the final words. All your fans and your followers and people who love you, what would you like to say?
Just thank you. Thank you for always being there. It's great that we're all here together at this moment, that we get to learn and teach each other. We're all together helping each other grow. So everyone out there, I see you, and I thank you. And Hob, brother, I love you forever, man. Thank you. Such an honor to spend the time that I got to with you, and in the future as well. But one of the highlights of my life is to be with you, be your friend, to learn from you. So thank you for that.
Well, you have no choice. We have to coach the GFL, so you're stuck with them for a little while.
You got no choice.
Amazing.
But hey, remember, I may be the head coach, you may be the manager, but you're not my boss. Okay, you're not my boss. Don't think you're my boss. You're not my boss. I love you too.
I love it, brother. Thank you.
Yes. Well, you guys had the final word. I don't want to say anything else, even though I want to share more on that, but I won't. All I will say is that it's been such a pleasure to have you both, and thank you both so much. I'm so happy that I'm connected with you both. It's been amazing. And everyone who's watching, I want to remind you that we are the official bag of the UFC at WOLFpak here. And until next time, we will see you on the flip side.